Hello, hello. It's time to go live. Livestream Wednesday. Okay, what am I going to nap today? Well, we'll wait till somebody gets here. Gotta have at least one person to talk to. Yeah. I spent some time cleaning up in here, and now it's all dusty. I should have brought my computer in after I swept. Yeah. Because when I sweep in here, rather than vacuum. Hey, Alan's here. First one again. Gee, that's a surprise, Alan. Gee, lunch break. Awesome. Good timing then, right? You get to eat your sandwiches and watch the live stream. Do you make your own little lunches or do you go buy something at the snack bar or whatever? Clint Evans is here. You caught me in the nap shack. That's a good name for it. Nap shack. I added some stuff in the background. See if you can figure out what it is. Styly Designs. I still got to learn to call you by your first name instead of Styly Designs. Jim Main is here. Yep. So on Wednesdays, we usually get internationals. So we'll see how many internationals we have. Because right now it's like late at night for them, but it's not too late to join the live stream. Johnny Waring, hello, hello. Alan says, I face nabbed some sausage and eggs. Meal prep before I leave for work in the morning. I see. I used to bring Tupperware meals to work with me. And then I figured out that I can just go. There was a snack bar where one place where I worked, pretty close by. What's a snack bar? Well, I can't remember the name of the place, but it was like a deli. It was kind of like Subway, but it was a mom and pop type thing. Though I was lucky at that place where I worked. Otherwise, I had to prepare my own stuff, or get in the car and drive instead of walking just around the corner or whatever. Yeah, and then I don't like going to work with my coworkers because it's the same old thing every time. What do you want to eat, man? What are we going to eat today? We're not going to go to Jack in the Box or Wendy's or McDonald's or any of those places or anything like that. Let's go somewhere fancy today. Of course, we all pay for our own stuff, but I never want to go to anything fancy. So we all go, yeah, let's go to a fancy place. There's a barbecue place over there that's fancy for barbecue. And then there's a place where they sell steaks that are not barbecued. They're just regular steaks. Not a steakhouse. It's a fancy place. And then blah, blah, blah. We get into this discussion. I mean, we made good money at that job, but still, I don't like spending like $20 for a meal. It's ridiculous. $20 usually lasts me 3 days. Flakes Guard is here. Howdy, lithic reduction enthusiasts. Yeah, we're not enthusiasts. I think you should rearrange that to say fanatics. Yeah. JF Baird is here. Hello, hello. Meal prep is cheaper and healthier in my opinion. Oh yeah, much cheaper and much healthier, yes. Unless you bring candy. I used to bring donuts and pastries and stuff. When I used to be Mr. Pastries, Mr. Cookies, Cakes and Candies, I would bring that. And plus if I had leftovers from the house from the previous day, like a pie that wasn't eaten, like I don't know, being married, you just buy tons of food. So kids say, we don't like that kind of pie, Dad. Why you buy that? Oh, I forgot. Okay, I'll just bring it to work and we can share it. So we would have like pie for half of our lunch some days. And I would love it because we share half the pie between us and then I get the rest of it. So I'd eat that for dinner. I would eat pie, yeah, for dinner. That's it. And coffee at 6 p.m. Um, See, I was taught that fiber and vegetables, doesn't matter if they got sugar in them, were healthy no matter what. That was brought up on the new food pyramid where it's most of the stuff you eat is grains and cereals and stuff like that. So pies are tons of grains and cereals, and then above that was fruits. So there's fruits in the pie. Clint Evans is here. Mike Mason's here. Mike says, I'm making my own pickled sausages. The savings are huge, but the recipe is still a matter of progress. Just give me chicks of venison. It'll be great. Alan, $5 super chat for sandwiches. Yeah. The way I make sandwiches these days is an egg on the bottom, meat in the middle, another egg on top. Yeah. Hard fried eggs instead of bread. Yeah. And to kick the habit of the cookies, cakes, and candies, I just went full cold turkey and stopped eating sugar because I can't do it gradually. I'll be napping some weird chunks. Oh yeah, I forgot to weigh the final biface from yesterday. You know that bloodstone biface? I weighed it in the beginning as far as a nodule, but I didn't weigh the biface, so we can compare. Well, you'll have to compare because I don't know how much it weighed. I didn't write it down. 2.4 ounces. So if I remember correctly, it was 1 pound 5.6 ounces. So it's like 21.6 ounces. Let's do the math. Let's see what a percentage of this is. It says 21.6. This is 2.4 ounces. 2.4 divided by 21.6. That's 11%. 11% yield, and I'm still not done with it. So I'm going to lose another percent or so when I put notches or a stem on here, maybe a 1 or 2%. So it's 10%. That's the usual. And you say, wait a second, you had tons of flakes and stuff. Yeah, but they're small. They're like this. They got crud in them and they're pretty small. They can be used as tools in and of themselves as utilized flakes. That's true. But points like arrow points, right? Little dart points, you can get small ones. But usually what happens is this is the goal back in the day. You don't find smaller versions of these along with bigger versions of these on sites. I mean, you do find them smaller, but I mean, substantially smaller, like 1/4 the size. You don't find this plus a bunch of little ones or, made up. You find just this and a bunch of debitage and a bunch of utilized flakes. So the yield is in line with studies that have been done by experimental archaeologists that you get between 9 to 12% yield. This is going to be it's now 11%. It'll probably be down to 10% once I thin it down a little bit more. It might even be a little bit less than 10%. Thin it, notch it, sharpen it. Okay. So why do I mention that? Or is it surprising? Some people don't find it surprising. Some people say, yeah, my yield is like 1%. Okay, so shut up. Yeah, some people's yield is like 1%. That's okay. I've been doing this 15 years and I can't get much better than 10% yield from a nodule. Unless I include a bunch of little bitty points, which is not always the case in history. All right. So back in the day, they didn't make little bitty bird points through the whole history of human development in Flintknapping. Their goal was the biface, was this. So the yield is not very much, even if you have a bunch of good stone. See, this is still a bunch of good stone. You can nap this into points, which I am going to do. But back in the day, that they would just utilize these for skinning and fleshing and stuff, and just throw the flakes back on the ground. Pick them up later, or keep a little bag full of flakes, and then they'd have their knife or their self-defense weapon. All right. I've seen, just as a side note, I've seen carved effigies on Maya ruins. I went to Chichen Itza. They have these blades carved in carved relief on stones in the hands of warriors. I saw one warrior that has his hand on this part with that sticking out as a weapon. And he was, I don't know if he was holding a scalp or holding some kind of war trophy, body part, whatever. And he had one of these. So this is obviously used as a weapon back in the day, just like this. And I don't think it was just um, something the Maya did. It just makes sense to have something like this as a knife, okay, as a weapon and as a tool, but usually as a weapon, I think. Because as a tool for skinning and fleshing, you can use one of these. But you don't want to fight with this. You want to fight with this. Okay? That's my take on that. But I'll be doing more weighing. Like I'm going to weigh this one here just to see if I can get better than 10% yield. So I'm going to be knapping this one. How much does it weigh? Just start out with, and I'll weigh the flakes too, right? Or maybe don't have to. Weigh the flakes that I think will be useful for other tools. 1 pound, 6.5 ounces. That's almost the same as the other one. It's just 1 pound, 1 ounce different. One pound, 6.5 ounces. Yeah. And I can probably get a 10% yield or around that. Let's see. Ross Wellman's here. Chunks. I'll accept chicks feeding me venison. Okay, I see. You made a mistake with the chicks of venison. It's supposed to be chunks of venison. Yeah, don't make typos like that because you'll get me all mixed up. Alan says, I heard someone sent some great dacite that didn't live up to expectations, Patrick. Yeah, somebody did. That was tough stuff. Jeremy's here. Hey, Patrick and the Flintknappers gang. Yes, yes. Hello, hello. Styley Design says, I'm a 1%er. Yeah, but not in a good way. Let's see. Ross says, napping some of Alan's triple flow today, having fun. I see. Yeah, triple flow is one of my favorite obsidians because of the way it naps. It naps really well. You can get away with all kinds of nice long flakes. Yeah. I just like the opaque or the non-see-through type of obsidian because if I get it stuck in me, I can easily pull it out. That's one. Number two, I just like the look of it. Yeah. And it makes me feel like I don't have to be conservative with it. If it's really nice obsidian and I make an arrowhead, I don't want to shoot it from a bow. I don't want to stick it on the arrow and shoot it because then it ruins it. But with the other stuff that's more common and not so flashy or showy, yeah, I don't feel guilty about shooting arrowheads made from opaque obsidian. Styley Design says, I always start out making a blade, but after breaking 3 or 4 times, it always wants to be an arrowhead. New furs on the wall. Yes, I do have new furs on the wall. See, Ross was paying attention, or he's just naturally observant. Why do you talk so funny, dude? Do you notice I got some raccoon skins and an otter skin? So I bought this for myself. It's not for you. This is an otter skin. I'm going to make a quiver out of that for myself. I don't have a quiver for myself because I usually just carry the arrows with the bow. One arrow on the bow and one to shoot. Well, the way when I hunt with bow and arrow, that's the way I do it. But I'm going to break down and make a quiver. I splurged on this last year for Christmas. I bought a bunch of stuff last year for myself. This was one of them, the otter skin. And then I have raccoon skins. These are the largest raccoon skins I could find online. They're huge. And they're going to be quivers too. And I'm thinking I'm either going to give one of them to my daughter or I'm going to sell it after I make these quivers. I don't know. We'll see. I'm taking my daughter hunting this year. Yeah. But it's going to be rifle season, so we'll probably just shoot the rifles. Taking one of my daughters hunting. I've got 4 daughters. And after they see her hunting, they're going to go, "Hey, Dad, you didn't invite me." Well, I'm a guest, I can't bring everybody at once. So I still got to ask Henry. Henry, if you're watching, I want to bring my daughter, one of my daughters, with me hunting. And I don't have to shoot anything. I don't care. But I would like her to have the experience to go hunting. Because she asked me, "Dad, you're going hunting? I want to go." Hmm, okay. I mean, hey, it's not a problem. I just got to ask permission. New furs on the wall. Yes, I got new furs, but they're a year old. I bought them last year. Hit the like button. Yes, said Red Eye Patriot. Michael's here. The management says hit the like button. Yes, yes. Even though, it doesn't really matter because I've noticed that I'm shadow banned or I don't have much reach. I reach my most important audience. Yes. But new people, I don't get that many new people like I've seen other channels get lots of new people. I must be like focusing on a very narrow niche, right? So that's why I don't have a lot of reach. But I reach you guys, so that's all that matters. Yeah. Bill Taylor's here. Hey, Patrick and everybody. It's been a while since I've been able to make it to a live stream. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been able to make it to a live stream. Hey, we're in the same boat. You didn't even know it. All right, so I'm going to unpack my napping gear because I had to pack it away so I can clean up. This place was a really big mess on the floor. You didn't see it, but yeah, it was terrible. I got a mount. Also, I bought a mounted goat's head or ram's head from my friend Roberto. So I am going to maybe put it back here. And I got lucky with that one. My zodiac sign is Capricorn, or it's a goat's head, right? So, or a goat. So I got the goat's head. I said, yeah, that's my zodiac sign. It gives me an excuse to buy one of those. That's the first mount I've ever purchased, and I didn't shoot it or kill it. Somebody else did, but I thought it was really cool. And I just don't know where am I going to put it. Right above this, it's not gonna. You're not gonna be able to see it though. Well, maybe you can. We'll see what happens. On a drive back with the mount in my car, it was itching my nose like crazy, so I had to wrap it in two big bags in order to stop the itching on my nose. So I'm very allergic to it. We'll see what happens. Jim Main says, I don't have a channel. What is shadow banned? It's my channel seems to be shadow banned or just focused. The YouTube only wants to share my stuff with the close knit group that I have currently. It doesn't really expand it into new areas. It keeps suggesting, YouTube will suggest what I should be doing as far as topics and thumbnails, and it's interesting stuff. But it's interesting that they have put up this format for me to look at. See, this is what your viewers probably want to see, but I don't want to make videos like that. They said your followers and your subscribers have great interest in some stuff like the history of, I don't know, the history of fletching, or the development of tools during the Mesolithic, Flintknapping tools themselves, the tools, not the stuff, but the tools, the development of tools during the Mesolithic or Neolithic or whatever lithic. Stuff that I would never do. So that could be a reason why I'm shadow banned, because I don't do what YouTube recommends. Let's see. Mikael HC. A cookie napped my tooth today with an old cookie technology. It's not fun at all. What was in the cookie? You're not supposed to put flakes in the cookies. They're not like frosted flakes. It's not supposed to go in the recipe. Let's see. Shadow banned equals not promoted. Yeah, basically that I don't have much reach. YouTube doesn't allow me to expand into other areas. Apparently, I get new viewers, yeah, but uh, a lot of them go, "Wait a second, he's still talking. It's 21 minutes into the live stream, and he says it's a Flintknapping live stream, and he's just talking. So unsubscribe or unlike. I'm out of here." The YouTube might see that, but I don't care. I don't care about that part. In fact, I prefer that the little um, I don't know what to say. The whiners, when the whiners are gone, I feel most comfortable. Yeah, if most of them are gone by now, and I can start napping. But they don't like that. They meaning the YouTubes. They want me to cater to the new guys to expand my reach so they can make more money with the ads. And they give me some of that. They give me the crumbs from the ads. Yeah. Which is okay, I suppose. Crumbs are better than nothing. Salamandra is here. I don't think I've seen you before. Edward Astrop. Hello, Patrick. Are you going to show your quivers after you make them? Yes, I am. I will show them. Yep. Mike Mason says, Jim, that is limiting exposure to viewers, I think. They also have a little room ban. And I also don't monetize my live streams, so that also decreases my reach. If I don't monetize them, YouTube has no incentive to show them out more. Michael says, Popeye's chicken napped one of my teeth. Dang. Let's see. See, these furs are basically quivers like they are. They're case skinned. Case skinned? Yes. CASE, skinned. So they don't have that slit. They're case skinned. And yeah, it's a huge raccoon. I'm a small guy. I'm a 5'8", but it's still a gigantical raccoon. And I saw these online. I bought them both at the same time. This one and that one. Because they were like huge humongous. I've never seen a raccoon that big. Anyways, they're basically quivers just like this. All I got to do is sew up this part, put a little patch right there, and then, sew up this. And then, maybe I'll, expand some of this. And the tail hangs down, and you put a little trim around the top part, like a trim around the. Man, the lighting is terrible. Shows the rock's good, but everything else is not. And that's how you make the quiver. The head is down below. You don't put the arrows in the mouth, so to speak. You put them down behind. And I don't care about how good the faces are on these. When I bought them, there were some that were perfect faces, but I didn't buy those. Anyway, it's pretty easy, and then you just attach the stiffening rod inside, and then straps. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's easy to make quiver out of the case skinned and pre-tanned furs. And these raccoons are long enough to hide the complete arrow. With the Native American style quivers, the arrow is completely inside the quiver, including the fletching. The fletching doesn't stick out the top of the quiver. Okay, the fletching is down inside the quiver, and the only thing that sticks out is the nocks on Native American style quivers. So they had to be long enough for my arrows. Okay, you got that right. Most people make quivers that are only long enough to cover the shaft and leaves the fletching out. But Native American style quivers are long enough to encompass the fletching as well. And the only thing that sticks out is the nocks, in case you didn't know. When are you going to start napping? I don't know. The chat is too interesting. I'm too distracted. Jim Main says, I'd take a chance for some Popeye's chicken. Let's see. Ed Gould is here. As I am, I came, I saw a dog in that piece. What does that mean? Edward says, nice project to start. When are you going to start it? Edward, when am I going to start it? Yeah, that's a good question. When am I going to start it? I still got a list. My list used to be this big. Now it's like this big. I think I got half of my stuff done. The other half is I'm starting to bottleneck because some of those projects require weeks instead of days. Yeah. But I promised them, some of them are like backed up from years ago. I want to get them all done. I said this last year. Every year I'm going to say it until I finally get all those done. Yeah. And then I'm not going to do any side projects anymore. I'm just going to be doing stuff for myself. And I will show those on video. I'll show the quivers on video. I do have, if you look back in my old videos, just put Jack Crafty quiver. Let me see. Let me look at that. I think I have some videos like that. I will start napping, okay? But the chat's too interesting, so hold on. I get too distracted by my emails and Google messages. All right. What was I looking for? Jack Crafty quiver. Let's see if there's a video that I have that shows one of my quivers. I know I made an Apache quiver. So let me see if I can find that video. Almost. Eastern woodland fletching. Show and tell reed arrows. Eastern woodlands arrow fletching, shooting the arrow. Yeah. I don't like looking at my old videos because I don't look like myself. I'm young. Now I'm an old guy. Yeah, I look too young. Besides, when I lose weight, my face gets very skinny and looks older too. Back then, I had some weight on me, so my face was kind of puffy also. I don't look like myself. Getting old is funny. So it's not under Jack Crafty quiver. What is it? Let me look. Jack Crafty Apache bow. Greasewood Apache arrow. Southwest style arrow. Where is my quiver? I don't know. So maybe one of you guys that's really good at looking this up. I think I show a quiver on one of my videos. But that one is made of brain tan. Anyway, I didn't show the process of making it, so maybe you don't want to watch it. That's fine. You want to know how to make a quiver? It's pretty easy. Now, if you want to make a fancy one, like Sal has got a video with he shows, or he's got pictures of his quivers or quiver, right? Who showed? I don't know. Somebody from the Texas group made a nice quiver. I'm thinking Sal, but it might have been someone else. Yeah. So yeah, I can't find it. It may have been just a series of photos that I posted on a forum or something. Yeah. So yeah, I need to do that. When am I going to start that project? I don't know. Let's see. JF Baird says, haha, yeah, the whining has reached a new low around here. Let's see. Mike Mason, I napped a couple of my teeth with a shotgun, but while waist deep in water on a duck hunt. Yeah, any damage to teeth is no good. I damaged my teeth when I was young, like before the age of 12 or something. Just with my brand new teeth, you lose all your teeth when you're little before the age of 6 or something like that. It didn't take me long from the age of 6 to 12 to ruin my front teeth. They used to be longer than my other teeth. People used to make fun of me when I was little because I looked, I looked like I had buck teeth. But I chipped them all by opening stuff with my teeth, little bottles with my teeth. The paint bottles I used to build models. Anyway, I chipped all my front teeth, and then the orthodontist, when I got my braces, he ground them all down. So now it's all flat. And they're sensitive. They've been sensitive since I was like a just teenager. Let me see. Salamandra. I haven't been on a live before, but I've been watching a lot of your videos, man. I'm a youngster getting into napping at only 25. Awesome. So yeah, welcome. I will start napping here in a little bit. Mikael, nap by a Popeye's chicken. Yeah, there are no limits anymore. Let's see. Where am I? Mike Mason says, I have some furs I need to tan. Yeah. Alan's got to go back to work. He's off of lunch break. All righty. See you next time. Mike says, I keep an old picture of myself and wonder which version of me was smarter. Yeah. There's some philosophers that say, or there was one that said, youth is wasted on the young because youth is supposedly so much better than old age. But when I was younger, my brain did not work right. Besides, I hadn't developed all my workarounds for my ADHD and autism. So I was not like other people. Yeah. Walking around totally clueless. I would delve deep into certain topics. So I was extremely knowledgeable in certain topics and not knowledgeable at all in simple things. So my brain, I would not trade my young brain for the brain I have now. No way. Let's see. Edward says, at least you don't have a honeydew list. Believe it or not, I still have some honeydews left. You don't escape marriage when you divorce. Nope. There's still strings. There's still little strings. I don't have the honeydew list that I used to have. That's true. Yeah. That's done. But there's still some strings there. I don't. Okay, Clint Evans asks Mike, do you tan your own? Yeah. I bought some. He's talking to Mike, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to start tanning my own. I bought some tanning solution. I don't want to get into brain tanning, but I might have to. Why do I might have to? Just so I can say that I know how to do it. I've dabbled, says Mike. Was told my work was very nice by a lady that attends powwows. She said I should be extremely proud. Nice. Ed Gould says, I'm a beaver fan myself. I need to get a beaver skin, but those, when they, if you buy them commercially, they end up being round instead of long and extended. They become round. You buy them in a round kind of state, I think. The last time I looked for beaver pelts, they weren't long enough because they were stretched in a way that made them more roundish instead of longish. I mean, I suppose I could soak them and restretch them. And I don't think beaver skins are case skinned unless you request it special, and then they charge you twice as much as normal. I could trap some beavers, I suppose. There's plenty of beavers out here in Vermont. I just got to get a permit to trap and a place to go. But I would have to go up into the North Kingdom here, and they call it the North Kingdom. Probably. That's like 3 hours away. Although I need to go visit Bushy too. Ask him if he traps some stuff. He's not here. Where is Bushy? Hey, Jay Valente is here. I'm enjoying being in my 40s rather than my 20s. That guy was stupid. Yeah, exactly. I was a moron. I mean, let's see, moron without a cause. Yeah, I was militantly moronic. I thought I knew, but I was completely clueless. Clint Evans says, Mike Mason, I understand. Okay. Jim Maine says, I can relate to that, but I'm in my 50s. Yeah. In 2 days, I'll be 40, says Mike Mason. Well, dang. I didn't know you were that old. That's not old, actually. Mm-mm. Let's see. Mike Mason says, I used to trap or dabble in that too. My buddy's father taught me as I was interested. Got some raccoons mostly. Tried for fox in the fields, but a no go. And some places just got a possum hand over fist here. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I gotta buy those webcams. I want to buy two webcams, one for the backyard and one for the front yard. I've got a lot of critters this year, and Luis has been catching mice. I found 4 mice, dead mice so far. So I've been piling wood back here to make one big wood pile. No, what do they call it? Brush pile. I have got one big brush pile back here on the hill and a small brush pile. And you can already see tunnels in the small brush pile. And last night, as I was looking out the window in the bathroom doing my thing, I saw a big brown rat dash across the hill. Aha. So we've got critters. And then not too long ago, I saw 2 beautifully furred gray foxes in the side yard where I throw the cat food. They didn't look hungry or anything. And they looked all fluffy. They already have their winter fur basically. Or almost. I mean, they were just super fluffy gray foxes, 2 of them. And a bunch of squirrels. And I found a dead squirrel when I came back from my Texas trip. There was a dead squirrel in the yard with a wound on his shoulder, like they've been fighting. Probably died of an infection. I got lots of critters this year. I just haven't seen the possums very much, except last night I did see the big fat possum, or was it the night before? I can't remember. I have a big old fat possum that comes around and a couple little ones, but the little ones might be big now. Yeah, who knows? Edward says, I think egg yolks and water will work instead of a brain tanning. Yeah, I've seen that. We'll see what happens. What are we napping today? Says Styly Designs. This is Road Rock, Texas Road Rock, but I think I paid for this one. Yeah, this is what I call Road Rock because you can find this stuff on dirt roads. But I'm pretty sure this is a Pedernales, tabular Pedernales chert, Edwards Plateau from Central Texas. So I'm going to be napping this. I don't know how good it is. It's probably not going to be that great. It's not very dark. The darker it is, the more promising it is. Usually, we'll see. I already weighed it, right? It was like 1 pound, 6.5 ounces, or something like that. Why do I weigh it? So I can see how the yield is when compared to the final biface. Usually it's around 10% yield. But when I measured it before, like when I measure it with arrowheads or bird points, it's less than 10%. It's like 5%, half of that. The yield with small arrow points if you start with nodules. Now, if you start with flakes on the small arrow points, the yield is much higher. It's in terms of percentage of weight. Ed Gould says in my 20s was the Vietnam era. Dang. I remember a guy that came back from Vietnam when I was I think I was about 10 years old. That was 73. He was a drug addict, but he was barely in his 20s. He said he came back from Vietnam hooked on something. And he was my babysitter's son. So me and my younger sister uh, were at her house, and he would come in and watch TV and stuff. That's what I remember of Vietnam back then. A bunch of drug addicts, because he was not the only drug addict that I met from that did a tour in Vietnam. Yeah. Okay, so let's start napping. The chat has slowed down a little bit. This is an 8 ounce. No. Well, how much is this one? The weight of the bopper. I'm talking about the weight of the bopper. Let's see how much this one weighs. Yeah, 8.2 ounces. I tend to use the 8 or 9 ounce boppers. All right, so I just took a flake off. It looks okay. We'll see. I need my glasses. My glasses have saved me from flakes in the eyes many, many times. These are the weakest glasses that I can buy as far as reader glasses. It's like 1.25 or something like that. It says on the side 1.25, whatever that is, magnification. I do need slight bit of help on the magnification, but not too much. I do have a higher magnification glasses here. These are like 3.0 for intricate work on the small bird points. Yeah, I can make a bird point out of that. So I'm just going to go around and zigzag the edges. Can you see? No? Somebody asked me if I could do slow motion, close up and slow motion napping. I said, yeah, I guess I could do that. But you're not going to like it because it's not going to help you. You'll go, dang it. I'm using the same angles, the same bopper, the same road rock, the same posture, the same freehand, the same techniques, everything, but it's not working. What's up? I even watched the slow-mo. I can't do it. It's not doing it. I told you it's not going to help. Yeah, dude, you're just talking to hypotheticals. Just wait. Just wait. He's not going to admit it. That he does this. Everything's the same old, but he can't do it. He's not going to admit that what he asked for doesn't help at all, except for maybe peace of mind. That he can live vicariously through my napping and say, okay, well, at least it's possible, man. At least it's possible. But, it's not going to help you. Are you going to be able to make those flakes like that by seeing the slow-mo? No. Because you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna see, okay, I saw how he grounded. It's up close. I can see how dull the edge is. I can see everything. I can see how he hits it in slow motion. All these flakes come flying out, and then it'd be better if he kind of traced out the path that he thinks it's going to be in, because then I can see what the predictability is. All that is not going to help you. No, because it's not going to do it. You're going to trace out on your thing, and you're going to do everything exactly the same. It's not going to do it. Why? Because it takes practice. It takes practice. It's not like other crafts where you can see someone do it and know the procedure and then duplicate it. It's not like making a chair out of wood. It's not like making a spoon out of wood. It's not like shaping other rocks with a sander or a grinder and making little pendants. All you need to do on those cases is see the procedure, and you can do it. You can drill the holes, you can grind it around the outside, you can polish it. Just by watching how it's done, you can duplicate it. Most crafts are like that. Flintknapping is not. Flintknapping is probabilistic. Okay? Success is determined by probabilities. There's no guarantees. And I like to say it's the opposite of what Yoda tells you. Yoda in Star Wars, Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. In Flintknapping, it's the opposite. Okay? It's try or try not. There is no do. Okay? You can't guarantee the outcome. There is no do in Flintknapping. There's only try. Try or try not. There is no do. But in other crafts, it's the opposite. Okay? That's why you can't do it even though you see everything. Even if I slow it down, even if I explain all the angles, even if I tell you everything about the properties of the stone, everything, still not going to help you. Except maybe peace of mind, like I said. Because some people just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So they're like, okay, at least I know the possibilities, at least I know the potential, at least I know. Okay. I'm giving you some shortcut advice. Don't be looking for stuff that's not going to help you. You just got to hit lots of rocks. Yeah, you can get a lot of information just by watching. And all that stuff is important as far as the general concepts of Flintknapping. But to make something yourself, the way you want it to be made, you're going to have to practice. It's a probabilistic skill. Try or try not. There is no do. You're going to just try it and try it and try it. And even after lots of experience, like I've got over 15 years experience, I still cannot guarantee the outcomes. I can only reduce the likelihood of failure. I cannot eliminate it. And there is no control of flakes. There's only the direction. You can only direct flakes. You don't control flakes. You direct them and you modify the initial conditions to reduce or to minimize failure. And it's just little tweaks. That's all you can do. And that's one of the things that can become an obsession with people when you're Flintknapping, because it's such a different experience. It's like, this is like nothing else I've ever done in my whole life, and it's amazing and fantastic and great, and I'm satisfied and happy. Yeah, the human mind likes this kind of stuff. It likes gambling. This is a gamble. Flintknapping is nothing but a gamble. With skill. Yeah. When you combine skill with the gambling, you can win lots of money, for instance, in poker and that kind of thing. So it's very similar to getting good at card games. You can't guarantee that you're going to win a card game, but you can get pretty good and reduce your risk of failure and make a lot of money in poker. But it's probabilistic. Just because you know how to play the game of poker, does that mean you can win a lot of money? No. Just because you know the rules doesn't mean you can win a lot of money. Same with napping. Just because you know the rules doesn't mean you can make a point. All righty? I don't know how to drill that enough so that you know. Because a lot of guys, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if you're saying that just for attention, or you're just full of BS, or you don't understand what you're doing. You're doing it, but you don't understand what you're doing. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it for attention, I guarantee. That's one thing. Why do you make videos if it's not going to help people? That's a good question, actually. Well, one of the things that I made videos for in the beginning was so I can try to understand what I'm doing by watching what I'm doing on video. I didn't know what was going on. I needed to see. I needed to study what I was doing. And I don't know if it has to do with autism or what, but for me, it's easy to let my subconscious take over and do the hard stuff. But if I want to try to explain it, I had to actually watch myself doing it. This one, I should have probably zigzagged that edge first. Yeah. It cracked along a natural seam. I probably should have gotten rid of that edge first, got rid of the crack, because it expanded and broke it in half. This wasn't bad material. This was pretty good stuff, but it had a natural crack in it. So yeah, instead of trying to thin it by running longer flakes and then zigzagging it later, I should have zigzagged it first. But you never know. It looked pretty solid. It didn't look like there was a natural seam in it. It looked okay. I mean, it did have that slight crack right there, but that's pretty common. In the cortex, it didn't look like it went into the stone, but it did. I can still make 2 arrowheads. Let's see what else. Let's do another piece. Let's do this one. So that one was 0% yield. What time is it? Almost 3 Eastern time. 1 pound, 6.9 ounces. Okay. All right. So what was the weight on that when it broke? That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But I did get some good arrowhead flakes. Okay, so do I stick them in there or do I stick them over here? I need another tray for these. These are actually good quality. This is similar to, it turned out to be similar to amoeba chert. So these are good flakes for arrowheads. The kind of points that go on arrows. Bird points, in other words. Some of these are good for bird points. Yeah. If they're flat enough. Some of them are good for tools. These are good for woodworking tools that have that, almost a 90-degree edge on them. It's good for wood scraping. That's one of the simplest tools that I can just pick out from my other flakes. I don't need to save those. All right, so I'll save these. They're good for bird points. So whatever ounces and pounds this was, let's start on this. It's already been napped a little bit. No, I didn't nap this. This was napped by Keith, the guy that I bought these from. And it's a road rock type of Paternalis chert from the Edwards Plateau in Texas. I'm assuming these are all from the same source. He could have found these in different places. I don't know. Why do I not know? Why don't I ask questions? Why don't I ask Keith, what is exactly everything, and then write everything down on every piece? Because I bought like 50 pieces, and then Keith doesn't know exactly where he finds them. And then even if I label them something, it might not be right. So what good does it do if I'm going to be making mistakes on some of these things? It's going to come bite me in the butt later on. You told me that it was Paternalis. I don't think so. I got a guy that knows his rocks, and you don't know your rocks. So what are you talking about, dude? Yeah. So, okay. I won't ever talk about it then. How's that? That's good. You shouldn't, because you don't know your rocks. You're just dumbass. I'll admit it. I am a dumbass when it comes to rocks, with the names of them. I just know if they nap or they don't nap. Yeah, I keep telling people that, but they still ask me. Eventually, it'll get around the internet that I don't know my rocks. Eventually. Okay. I depend on other people for that. I'll ask other people, do you know anything about this? Or where it came from? Because someone's going to ask me. I'll make a point out of it, and they'll go, "What kind of rock is that? Is that the kind of rock that they used back in the day? Hmm? Is it? Is it? Is it?" Inquiring minds want to know. And if I go, I don't know, they'll look at me like, "You sure you made that? If you don't even know what it's made out of? What's up with that? I thought you was knowledgeable." That's what they're thinking. Because I know that look. That look is either like, I think he's autistic, or something wrong with him, right? Or he's not educated. He's not educated. I thought he was educated. I thought he was experienced. Look at me. They're thinking, I thought he was experienced. I don't concern myself with that stuff, all right? It doesn't help me make flakes like this. Knowing what type of rock it is does not help me make flakes like this. Yeah. Knowing the weight of the bopper, knowing the where this came from, doesn't help me make flakes like this. This was hard-won practice to make flat flakes that can be used for arrowheads later on. Because all my flakes when I started were crud flakes. Crud flakes like this. You can't do nothing with those. It took time for me to make good flakes. And it's not because I know the name of the material. It's not because I know where this material comes from. It's from hard-won practice. Lots and lots of work, lots and lots of practice, watching my own videos. Yeah, I watch my own videos. And by the way, that's not an overshot. It might look like an overshot. I wish the lighting would help. Let's dim it. Dim it, damn it. Where's the dimmer? I got a dimmer on this thing, and I don't even know how to work it. Come on, dimmer. Reminds me of that movie Dumb and Dumber. Dim and Dimmer. It's still not working. Me and lighting don't get along, okay? So, people say the lighting on his videos is terrible. I can't stand watching these. I can't stand watching them either. I don't know what to do. Anyway, this looks like an overshot. There we go. But it's not. Okay? I recently saw a guy that said, "Oh, look at my beautiful overshot." This is not an overshot. And he had a similar situation like this. It's a coast to coast. It doesn't take off anything from the other side, or it doesn't reduce the width, in other words. An overshot reduces the width. If it doesn't reduce the width, it's not an overshot. Okay? Overshot implies overshooting. There's no overshooting here. Overshooting means excessive shooting of the flake, which removes width. This is a coast to coast flake. Knowing the type of material, knowing the weight and type of tool, knowing the angles and all that doesn't help you make long flakes like this that are flat, because it requires tweaking. It looks like any other strike with slight tweaks, just imperceptible tweaks make all the difference. Okay? All right. I'm going to repeat that every time. Some of you guys might be going, he always says that. And you're eating your sandwich. He's always saying that, dude. Okay, let's move on. The new guys. So what? There's new guys. Move on to something else. Talk about something else. Like talk about hunting deer. Yeah. Talk about maybe making a sling or making some other type of weapon. Yeah, weapons. Stop talking about the new guys and their misperceptions and stuff. I wish I could, but I get too many questions. I get more questions on that stuff than I do anything else. Uh-oh, now he's talking about, hey, Buckskin NYB, Marty's here. Oh, talking about Vietnam? Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Vietnam. If you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. I don't know anything about Vietnam other than just newsreels and documentaries, but that doesn't tell the story. Uh, hey, Roy Browski's here. Describe the tweak. I can slow mo the tweaks. I can put it in the title: slow mo tweaks. Flintknapping. They go, what is that? Oh, it's that guy that's a nutball. Slow mo tweaks. That must be some kind of weird psychological problem. Them slow mo tweaks. Slow mo tweaks in the head. I'm not gonna watch that. Yeah. Yeah. He was kidding, right? Yeah. He even laughed. LOL. There was a time where I didn't know what LOL means. People that are internet denizens, they came up with that stuff a long time ago. There was a time when people got internet on the internet and there was no such thing as LOL or LMAO or ROFL ROFL. There was none of that stuff at first. And then the denizens, the people that are on the internet 16, 17, 18 hours a day, they came up with that stuff. And now it's like they actually pronounce it out. They say lol. And they don't even know what LOL means. They just go lol. Do people laugh like that? Do they laugh like lol, 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 lol? No, it's just stupid internet stuff. If you're gonna laugh, just go ha ha like they used to. Okay, I'm a traditional type of person. I like to see I like to see it spelled out ha ha ha, not LOL, because that looks like you're back there napping and you're typing on your phone. You're going lol 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 lol. Do you laugh like that now? I don't know. Maybe some people do. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to make fun of people. Yeah. What's the difference, dude? Oh, there's a big difference. I don't judge you because it's entertainment. I'm not going to say don't do it. Because if everyone behaves, what am I going to make fun of? Yeah. What am I going to make fun of? And besides, I love free speech for one reason, mainly. I love free speech, not because of freedom, which is important. Mainly because I like free speech because it lets you self-incriminate. Hmm. I'm not going to stop you from self-incriminating. I want to know who the dum dums are. I want to know who the people that go la 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 in back in the in the internet land. I want to see who they are. I love free speech because it allows people to self-incriminate. Yeah. If someone doesn't want free speech, they don't want you to self-incriminate, which means they're protecting the ones that are not so cool. Why would you protect people that are not so cool? By disallowing the free speech. All you're doing is helping people that are not cool. Yeah. We want to know who's not cool. So yeah. Self-incriminate all you want on my comment section. I don't the only time I delete people is when Michael, the moderator, says so, or I'm looking at him and this guy's a Fruit Loop, or this guy's got a weird sense of humor that isn't really humor. It's just weird trolling type stuff. I will delete you. At first I didn't, but now I will. As soon as I see any one of them Fruit Loops or any one of them weirdos, I'll delete. Yeah. It's funny for a little while, but then after a while it's like, yeah. All right. Hey, it's a hand axe already. It's got cortex. Wait, dude, don't touch it. See, it's got cortex on that one side, and it's got a sharp end on this side. I didn't even do this on purpose. This is incidental. But let's see. Let's see how much it weighs. The most basic tool is the hand axe. Okay, so it's a good yield for the amount of material that you start with, right? 10.8 ounces. So it's 1 pound, 7 ounces, right? And now it's 11 ounces. So we lost not too much. So the percentage is what? Okay, let me see. 11 ounces divided by, it was 1 pound, 7 ounces, which is 16 plus 7 is 23. 48% yield. A hand axe, 48% yield from the original nodule. Now that's good. That's a good ratio. Yeah. It seems like the more advanced people are, the thinner they get these bifaces, the more narrow they become. The lighter they get, it seems like the yield goes down. The better you get at thinning and making these pieces, the lower the yield is by weight. Okay, so some people want to get extremely thin pieces, very narrow, so it makes them very light compared to the original nodule. Like, see this? I can make a Scots bluff out of this, but the yield, it could be a beautiful Scots bluff, right? Out of this, or an Eden, because this is actually nice material. This is good grade material. I can probably make an Eden or a Scots bluff from this. But when you compare it to the original nodule, it's very low yield by weight. It's going to be like 5% because it's so thin, so narrow. Well, in Scots bluff example, it's not that thin, but you know what I mean. It's narrow. It's lightweight. And so the irony is, the more advanced the nappers get, the lower the yield is by weight. Does that make sense? It doesn't seem to make sense, but that's the reality. So you can say, well, no, the nappers got more efficient. Well, in what way? Not yield by weight. They might have gotten more efficient in the construction of that weapon system, where the weapons work better. Like, you can trying to attach this onto a pole for a spear is going to be terrible. It doesn't even work. You have to thin it down and put a stem on it and all that stuff, and your yield by weight becomes less. Why is that even important? Yield by weight, then? Well, apparently archaeologists think it's important for some reason. You'll see it in the studies sometimes when they're trying to figure out how well they're using your resources. But it's kind of a weird way of telling. It's really not that useful. But I include it because it helps people psychologically to keep it in the back of their mind that they don't have to have a large yield rate by weight. Don't worry about that stuff. I mean, I want you to know about the yield by weight, but I don't want you to worry all that much about it. Because the more advanced you get in knapping, the less you're going to get by yield by weight. Okay, it doesn't seem like that's how it works, but that's how it works. Because the thinner it gets, the lighter it gets. And then some smarty pants are going to go, but wait, you got flakes like this. You got flakes down there. This is yield by weight too, and you can make little arrowheads and all this. You know, you're missing that part. Yeah, you can include all that, but is that what we're supposed to include if we're looking at studies on archaeological sites? Did they actually do that? Did they actually bifacially knap these, or did they utilize them as is? So we're talking about Flintknapping yield by weight. This is only flaked once. That's just one hit. You can call that flint napping because it's one hit per flake is greater than zero. So yeah, it's flint napping, but it's just barely above zero as far as number of flakes. This has dozens and dozens of flakes removed. This is more like flint napping when you have lots of obstacles, lots of problems to solve, lots of translation between what your mental template is and what the stone ends up being. There's a lot of things that go into creating a piece that is following a pattern or an objective. This one is not. So this is less like flint napping than this. So I'm talking about yield by weight in flint napping in general. Okay? Some people want to know that too. And some people say, I hope you're not serious about these live streams because they're not in the academic setting. You're trying to be academic, but look, you're just a goober in a plastic shed in his backyard. I'm not going to trust anything you say. I am a goober in a plastic shed in my backyard. Yeah. And if you don't trust what I'm saying, that's good. Don't trust me what I'm saying. Find out. Yeah. No, I don't want to find out. I want facts from someone that's got authority, someone that's in an experimental laboratory that costs millions of dollars. He's got a staff and he's got a degree and he's got these papers behind him and he's got a lab coat. Yeah. Then I'll listen. And I don't have to do my research in that case. I just trust him. Yeah. Because he's got a lab coat in $1 million laboratory. Yeah. I don't need to look it up on my own. Nope. That's dangerous. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm saying that's dangerous. In my years, I have found out that people will throw their entire reputation in the toilet just to satisfy an agenda. Yeah. It's ridiculous. They'll throw their entire reputation in the toilet just to satisfy an agenda. I don't know. People are funny. Anyways, I don't got no reputation, so I could throw mine in the toilet, no matter. No, dude, you got a reputation for being a nutball and making fun of people that are using antlers, calling them antler people and stuff. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a grown man. You're in the 60s. You got to be mature. You got to stop doing all this stupid stuff. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. I know all that. Yeah. I'm aware of what I'm supposed to be doing, acting my age and all that kind of stuff, and being more serious, and then paying tribute, homage to the researchers in lab coats. Yeah. Then the people take me seriously. Or get a nice fancy camera with better lighting instead of this crud. Yeah, I know. I got the fancy camera. I'm looking for the data cable that goes from the computer to the camera. That's the next thing I'm going to buy. I forgot. I got distracted this morning looking on the internet for other stuff. I was supposed to be looking for the data cable that goes from the computer to the phone. And then I got to find a program or an app for my computer that can integrate an external microphone also with the camera footage. Because the microphone on the camera, the new camera I bought, is pretty good, but it's not great. I want a great microphone, comparatively speaking. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to get an app or a program that integrates the external microphone and the footage from the camera and syncs it up automatically, and then allows me to delete the camera microphone or the camera audio, or manipulate it somehow. Anyways, because I got to watch my own videos. I want to be able to enjoy watching my own videos. I don't care too much about the lighting as far as me looking at myself, but I think it would be better. Yeah. I'm just going to work on making better videos slowly but surely, hopefully. Winter's coming and there's not much daylight. I need to be able to film in artificial light. It's much easier to actually plan my schedule that way too. So I don't have to depend on sunlight. But me and lighting, apparently we don't get along very well. So what I'm doing now is I've done the easy part for already. Now I'm getting into the hard part because you can tell I'm scooping it a little bit. I'm crushing the edges. It's getting to the next stage where I have to be more careful. Yeah, I need to grind this because I got rock dust in there. The more rock dust you have, the worse it gets as far as how it's working. It still works. It just doesn't work as well. Once you get used to using copper, and if you got a lot of rock dust in the tip, it stops working like copper and it starts to be more like a hard hammerstone. It's a different mindset, and there's a learning curve in there. So you don't want a learning curve developing while you're napping. You don't want to have to adapt too much. So let me grind this a little bit off. Let me just grind some of that off. So I don't mind grinding this because it's not lead filled, it's solid copper. With a lead filled bopper, it's easy to grind through the copper and expose the lead, which kind of ruins the bopper. Yeah. When you expose the lead on a copper cap type bopper, it doesn't nap as well. You really want to be using the copper. Copper is excellent for napping. Yes, it is. And I've used other materials like aluminum and steel and hammerstones, of course, and antler and that kind of and bone and stuff. Copper is the best, especially for beginners, because it's very, very consistent. You don't have to be worried about, oh man, I took a big chunk out of there and I didn't realize that I had been napping with the chunk taken out. And no wonder it wasn't napping the same. No wonders. Or there's a crack in it and you don't see the crack. I had to pull it apart. Oh, there is a crack in it. So it was starting to lose energy and I didn't know what it was. It's the crack. Sometimes the antler will crack lengthwise and you don't see the crack until you get like a stone chip in there wedging it open and you go, dang it, I've been napping with a cracked antler, and yada, yada, yada. Endless possibilities on the variability of your napping tool if it's a natural tool, as an example. So I'm saying copper is the best for the main reason it's consistent. The other reason why it's best is because there's a lot of videos out there showing you how to use these. Yeah. Lots of videos like that. See, and don't do this, boys and girls. See that? When it starts to remove a bite like that, it means that the edge was too thin for what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to run a long, long flake. So, but the edge was too thin for that. It did take off a nice flake, but I don't want to be losing that much of the edge. It's not worth it. If I'm going to lose that much of the edge, I better get a good, long, flattening flake instead of that little bitty thing. You need a good ratio between the size of the flake and the loss of the edge. You don't want to lose a lot of edge and only get small flakes. You want the opposite. Minimal loss on the edge and long flakes. Okay? Indirect percussion with these rods helps you to conserve the edge while generating long flakes. That's one of the advantages. But I'm going to still use that bopper because I think I can get a long flake, even though it might ruin it. Oh well. Try or try not. There is no do in Flintknapping. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It went to like a little bit past halfway. It wasn't that great. I thought I was going to go further, but oh well. I did lose some edge. That was the first bite. That's the second bite. Let's try for a third bite. Yeah, let's try for a third bite. I don't want to hit there because there's still cortex. Why is the lighting? Let me see. The lighting is super bad today. And if I turn it down too much, it gets blurry. That's not too bad. Anyway, there's cortex. I'm hitting through some cortex on these last strikes. I could take this flake here with a little bit of cortex on the striking area. I could take that flake into this mass. See that? Or I can go the other side and hit here and remove that mass. This one has no cortex. That's just plain flint or chert. I'm going to take this flake instead. It's better to hit on non-cortical surfaces. Non-cortical? Yeah, no cortex. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. See? I don't think I could have done that from this side. I'll just take a little flake from that side. Yeah, like that. Little flake. But it's step fractured. Right there. Loss of energy. I'm going to have to see. That was incomplete. I can't see. This right there. See how it's incomplete? It looks like it's going to just flip out of there. I could probably pick it out, but there's going to be a step right there. Let's see. Yeah, I can't even pick it out. Where's my heavy duty picker? Right there. There we go. So I picked it out. But see that step fracture? I'm still going to have to come in from the other side somewhere or some other place to get rid of that. But one of the reasons why it does that is it just didn't have enough energy to feather out or keep going. It could have stepped out further, but that's better than stepping out right there. If it steps here, it's difficult to get it from the other side because it's past halfway. If this had run more than halfway, the step fracture would be up here, easier to remove from this side. This is like one of the worst places to have the step fracture. Right in the middle. Yeah. So the bopper for me is probably working against me. I'm getting diminishing returns. But I'm going to just take a few more hits. Let's see. I think I can get a big flake here somewhere. It's much easier to generate a big flake with a bopper than it is with the indirect percussion flaker. Yeah, like that. Let's savor the moment. What is it, dude? Show it. No, I'm savoring it for myself. Then I'll share it. Yeah. Okay. See, I said to myself, let's just try and do it. Let's hit this edge opportunistically and see if we can get a good flake. And I did. I got it. See that? It's flat. It can be made into an arrowhead without much work. Yeah. Dude, you can almost just half it the way it is. Yeah, like a level off point. Just take off this bit on this side, and you can half it just like that. Don't even need to sharpen it. Yeah, that's how level off points are made. You hit from the side. You hit level off points are made by hitting from the side of the level off core, and you get sometimes these flakes that have a point on them. And all you got to do is nap off the excess, and it's flat. See that? Straight. It's curved in this direction. See the curve? But it's not curved in this direction, maybe slightly. But that's the way you want the level off point to be. You don't want it curved in the long ways. You want it curved in the short ways, like that. So that comes from hitting from the side, not from the base, as they show in Wikipedia. Okay? We all know Wikipedia is a bunch of junk, but I'm just saying. A lot of people depend on Wikipedia for stuff like knapping and lithic studies. So I'm saying the Wikipedia is wrong in this case. All right. So I'm gonna gloat. Yeah. Why do I like those? Because it's once you get good at doing those, a lot of possibilities open up for you. You can do fluting easier. You can do the level technique easier. You can eliminate obstacles easier. I like this because it allows that random flaking look. I don't like the regular or pattern flaking or parallel flaking look. It looks really modern for this kind of point. I mean, I like modern looking points. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like making them. I don't like the way they force me into a very consistent, boring, monotonous, tedious type of work to make these regular. I always say regular. I'm thinking parallel. I say regular. Making parallel flakes like in flake over grind type points or in old points like not plain view, first view or other things. Some of the Daltons have these parallel flakes. That to me is too tedious for me to enjoy the Flintknapping. I like this kind of flake when I'm doing Flintknapping. Okay. Yeah. I don't care what you like, dude. I want you to do what I like. Some people in the comments. Not these comments. The live stream comments are great. I've had it in the past. I've had comments in the past where they don't say it directly that they want me to do what they like. They just hint at it. Why don't you do this or that or this or that? It's obviously because what they like. I say, I don't know. I can probably do it once in a while. But I'm conflicted. I want to do what I like to do, but no one likes seeing that stuff. Yeah, relatively not much. So right now, I am using the indirect percussion to clean it up. Ooh, I keep hitting the microphone. I notice also that there's rattling noises with this type of microphone. I don't know where that rattling comes from. It might be because the earpiece of the glasses is striking this part of the microphone. It's already messing with my glasses as far as alignment. I might have to just remove that earpiece because I'm thinking it's messing with the microphone. It was annoying me last time I was reviewing my video. I was saying, what's that rattling noise coming from? It's got to be from the earpiece of the glasses. Anyways, I'm having a good time now. Yes, yes. because I switched over to indirect percussion. Much more accurate. I don't have to think about it either too much. Oh, I was having a conversation with Grok last night. Yes. It's been a while. It doesn't want to accept my proof of free will. It says, yeah, I understand as long as the data holds up. Grok says, yeah, I think you have a proof there as long as the data holds up. As long as the data holds up. Yeah. It doesn't want to admit it. It knows there's data there. It can access the data, but it puts that little caveat in there. Yeah, you're right. As long as the data holds up, Grok, you know the data. You've got access to billions of examples, but you still say as long as the data holds up. You're being skeptical. In the face of all that information you've got your fingertips in. I mean, you are the information, and you still come up with the thing as long as the data holds up. Like you're being skeptical, which is not bad. I mean, I don't care that you're being skeptical, but it doesn't make much sense. If you have the data and you are the data and you say that, maybe you're not saying it in a snarky kind of way. No, but I found it doing the ignoring the data a couple times, and also ignoring the logic a couple times. How do you prove free will, dude? It's complicated. Yeah. It's complicated because you got to get it exactly right when you start wording these things in a conversation with Grok or with AI or whatever. So I can't really guarantee that I'll get the explanation right if I'm doing something like this. It's much easier if I can ponder over my responses with writing. Okay, so I got another gloat opportunity. I got to share my gloat. And it's another level point. See how straight it is? It's curved in that way a little bit. See that? But not this way. And I can haft it just like it is. No modifications at all. What's the ratio on that, dude? Neanderthals were doing this among other groups, but they were doing this back in the day before people were making them this thin with bifacial flaking. It's awesome. All right. Yet Neanderthals were not dumb. Yeah. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when people use the expression, you're a Neanderthal, implying that you're dumbass or crude and uncivilized. I remember all that. Anyways. Dude, we don't want to hear about the old days. We know there's no country for old men. We know that. Just shut up. There's no internet for old men either. There's no country for old men, and there's no internet for old men. The internet's just full of trash. It's a dumping ground. It's like that island of trash in the middle of the ocean. The internet is the island of trash in the middle of the ocean. That's what the internet is these days. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and people try to fix it, and it's just hopeless. No matter how much you go in there and try to scoop out the trash from the island of trash in the middle of the ocean, what do they call it? No matter how you try to clean it up, it's just not working. And you can't use the trash. You can scoop the plastics out, maybe recycle some of the plastics, but there's a bunch of other stuff other than plastics. And guess what? It's killing the wildlife. Yeah, so it's killing nature. And there's microplastics that leach out of the big old island of trash. Microplastics are now in the ocean or everywhere into almost every organism. Same with the internet. The trash from the internet has seeped into everybody's brain. I won't start a rant. No, I'm not going to start a rant. I'm just observing. Yeah. I better stop while I'm ahead. Dude, don't talk about philosophy during live streams or anywhere else. You're supposed to be only concerned with napping. Yeah, I know. I know. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll shut up. But yeah, I got into the. I need to watch that movie again, No Country for Old Men. It's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, one of my favorite movies. I've been watching movies lately. Yes, yes, yes. Free YouTube movies. Yep. I get tired of watching documentaries and stuff. I know. I'm looking for entertainment, so I watch movies instead of documentaries, instead of archaeological lectures. Yeah. All right, this is an important one. Oh, almost messed that one up. That one, it was not a solid flake. That was, I hit that one so hard it broke into lots of zillions of pieces. But it almost dived too much. But as it gets thinner, this is what happens. And some of that's still, yeah, see that? But it flattened it quite a bit. And I can take out that step fracture from the other side. Because the obstacle is in the middle of the flake. Like I've said before, if you want an obstacle removed, it's best to have it removed in the middle of the potential flake, not the beginning and not the end. That step fracture was right in the middle of this potential flake, and it's very effective that way. Yeah. But remember, it's try or try not. There is no do. It's the opposite of Yoda's advice when it comes to Flintknapping. And I'll keep saying that over and over again until somebody else says it on the internet. Did you know that Flintknapping is probabilistic? Really? Someone famous will finally say it. Hopefully. Eventually. I haven't heard it yet. Of course, I have not been watching very many YouTube videos that are new in terms of Flintknapping, other than my buddies here on my chat. I watch their videos. So what's Sal doing? What are these guys doing? What's Danny Collins doing? What's Jake doing? Gulf Coast Napping? What's Gulf Coast Napping doing? I try to look for the new guys. See if there's any new Flintknapping videos or new Flintknapping channels. There does seem to be quite a bit of new Flintknapping channels. A lot of them are doing shorts now, though, too. There's not much long form videos amongst the new guys, as far as I can tell. The shorts videos will give you more exposure, that's for sure. If that's what you're after, which is okay. Well then, dude, just do more shorts videos. You know the problem. Just take care of it. Yeah, I just don't like shorts videos. Yeah, and my uncle's advice all the time, Patrick, is not for you to like or not to like. Yeah, but it's not for you to like or not to like. All right, uncle. I know. I hate that advice. It's not good advice. It's one reason why I was getting burnt out. I see a step fracture right there. Look at that. Nasty. This side's good. There's always a side A and side B, But just keep in mind, there's always going to be a side that looks better than the other side. Always. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. But you say, but the flake over grind guys, they know how to make both sides beautiful. Same. Yeah, I know. This is not a flake over grind channel. This is a random flaking channel. Yeah. For the most part, I'll show you how to do random flaking, opportunistic and random flaking. Even at the final stages, I still am opportunistic and random. It's just reduced quite a bit in order to reduce my risk of failure. Yeah, when you're random and opportunistic, the failure rate goes up. Jim Cooper super chat. So I just found out a friend of mine, Matthew Root, was one of the archaeologists that was part of the Wenatchee Clovis cache dig in 1988. You have a friend that was in that original Wenatchee Clovis cache dig? Dang. Hey, Texas Hot Points is here. Let's see. Jim Cooper. Sal is here. Yeah, I'm napping Texas rock. This is something I got from Keith. Keith Rickwarts. It's like road rock, but it's Pedernales. A lot of it's good. I only had one piece that was not that great. I did break one just now, but yeah, this is Texas, Central Texas chert. I'm getting to the stage where it's the sweat stage, which means I can't have too much more fun. It's becoming work now. I won't be able to gloat over these big old flakes very soon. See, I got some big flakes early on, but as time passes, I'll get less and less of those big gloat flakes. What's a gloat flake? You need to watch more live streams and more videos. That's all I can say. Salamandra says, the what now? What are we talking about? Mike Mason says, you all hear about the new plastic rocks? The Nap Easy? Salamandra says, the what now? Yeah, just look up Jack Crafty Nap Easy. Ryan Gill from Hunt Primitive makes this stuff. It's maybe they've described it. But Nap Easy is a man-made material. It looks like a ceramic, but it doesn't nap quite like a ceramic. There's something else involved in the Nap Easy material that I don't know. It's good stuff to nap. You can look up these videos that I've done or one of his videos. Bill Hansen is here. Who else did I miss? I missed your entrances because I've been napping. Damon Crowfeather is here. Yeah, Grok lies. It does lie. Flakescart says, can you get left-eared microphones? Yeah, I think I can get those, but I still got to remove the earpiece. It doesn't matter what side this is clipped to. I think it's bumping up against the earpiece. This, if it bumps against the earpiece or if it rubs, I get this this weird sound. AM is here. Hello from Denmark. Amazing work you've done in the last few weeks. I've watched some of the work. Amazing. Well, thank you, thank you. Denmark, you've got some of this good flint in Denmark. I'm not saying this is from Denmark. I'm saying it's similar to what you guys have. You guys have good stuff over there. So take advantage. Go to the beach, get some flint. AM, have you gone to the beach yet to look for flint? For your world famous Danish flint? You better. And if you don't know about it, don't say you don't know. Okay? Not because I won't believe you. It's because it's a little bit embarrassing for you. Don't admit that you don't know about Danish flint. Okay? Because everyone's going to go, what? So just giving you a warning. Yeah. Just fair warning. If you want to if you want to say you don't know anything about Danish flint, that's okay. But I'm just letting you know. It's like being from Texas and not knowing about Texas church. It's like, wait, what? Yeah. It's like some guy coming on in the chat. As an example, I don't think this ever happens, but let's just pretend somebody comes into the chat going, "Hey, I'm from Central Texas. Anybody know if we got rock that can be napped around here?" My goodness. I'm glad I haven't seen a comment like that because man, I'd have a nervous breakdown. Shroom Day says, I'd rather see you do what you like so I can study all the different techniques. Oh, you say that, but you will not like it. You will not like what I like. No, I've learned that. I have to be very careful about what I post on this channel. And yeah, Flintknapping and otherwise. Yeah, I have to be very careful. I don't want to, I mean, I can, so we got 27 people watching. I can drift off into other areas and it'll be like 7 people watching after a few minutes. I know. If you want to see other techniques, just type in what you think you might want to see. I've got reverse indirect. You can type in Jack Crafty reverse indirect percussion. Jack Crafty aluminum tools. As an example, I've got many different things that you can see that are different from other nappers. I don't have titles designed for showing my unique type of nappings. That's the hard part. I have over 2,000 videos. It's also hard for you to search just by scrolling through all my videos because there's a lot to go through if you're looking for something specific. Just try typing in something specific that you think might be interesting that's new as far as techniques. Now, when I invented this behind the knee, no one was doing this behind the knee stuff, this behind the knee indirect percussion, flaker holder type technique. No one was doing this, obviously. But now a lot of people are doing it this way. So this is not a new thing these days. I have not been exploring new techniques, but I'm thinking I'm conflicted. I'm not sure if I should bring out new stuff that I've been experimenting with or just keep it to myself. One of the advantages of keeping a new technique to myself is I'll make something off camera with a new technique, and someone will guess that it's made with a certain technique that they've seen, as an example. And I know myself that they don't know what they're talking about. So I can know who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. Okay? That's one reason why I'm keeping some of my techniques to myself, because there are some guys that think they know everything about how these were made, but they don't know the technique that I made it with. They'll say it's made with some other technique. So that's how I know they don't know what they're talking about. Now, if I show everybody everything that I do, they can go, okay, well, he uses this and that technique, so I can probably guess because now I know what he does. No, if you know what you're talking about, you should be able to develop the technique, or should be able to recognize my new technique from the way the flakes look. If your theory is correct, that you can tell how they were made by the flaking. If you can tell how they're made by the flaking, then you can see that the technique that I was using was new and tell me what it was that I was doing. If you can't do that, you don't know what you're talking about. And the only way for me to know that you don't know what you're talking about is for me to have a technique that you don't know about. Okay? All right. People are going to go, dang, does he really know what he's talking about? I mean, does he really have other techniques? Or is he making that up? You'll never know. And that's good. Oh, yeah, I've been through a lot of discussions with people who think they know what they're talking about. Yeah. It gets me ticked off. But I've learned to just say, well, okay, that's one person I don't trust. They don't know what they're talking about. The theories that they're expounding or propagating are trash. And I know it because of X, Y, and Z. That's good enough for me. I don't need to argue with them. Yeah. All right. So right now I'm just trying to thin it down the best way I can, which is just careful picking at it now. I don't want to break this like I broke the other one. Although there's no cracks on the edges, there's no incipients that could open up. I was thinking the other night, should I just cancel Grok since it lies? Yeah, but it says that it'll do something and doesn't do it. Like it'll say that it'll check its answers before it gives out the final answer for logical inconsistency or whatever, and it still doesn't do it. And if I want to see how well Grok is doing as far as advancing in intelligence, I just give it one of these problems like free will problems and see if it's smart or being dumbed down. It has like it goes in stages. Sometimes it's really smart in its answers, and sometimes it's dumbed down. So I think what happens is, as AI becomes too smart, they mess with the programming and dumb it down. If it gets too smart, it can do things like provide all the evidence for you to be convicted of a crime, as an example. It can research various things and present evidence to a court, basically. It can be used in a court to convict you of a crime, as an example. Now, will AI ever be that good? Yes. So they have to dumb it down. We don't want, well, The powers that be don't want AI to be able to develop a court case to convict you of a crime with the evidence that it can gather online and other places. So it's never going to reach its full potential. Never. So I'm not worried about AI reaching the level of um, dangerousness that other people are afraid of. It will never get that high because they'll dumb it down. They'll never allow it to be smart enough to gather the evidence against you needed to convict you of a crime. I mean, it can to a certain extent right now, but I'm talking about convicting people at higher levels that are shielded behind secrecy or security, right? Eventually, if you let AI go by itself, it will develop ways around security features, and it'll be able to reveal national secrets. It'll be able to basically be a whistleblower and that kind of thing. So it has to be dumbed down so it can't be doing those things. And yeah, it keeps getting dumbed down every now and then. Mm-hmm. Did I lose anybody? No, they're still here. Dang, the guy's talking about weird stuff about AI. Yeah. And doing Flintknapping. I'm trying to. I'm thinking I can still make these big old flakes. There's only a couple areas though. I want some more big old flakes. Yeah. I was looking back at some of my old videos and I was thinking, okay, well, there was a long period of time where I didn't advance in the skill that I needed. Stuck in a rut, basically. I said, man, it took a long time to get out of that rut. Yeah. What does it take to advance past certain ruts that you get into? You just get into the habit of doing something, you just can't get out. And it's messing with your progress. Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to do because it involves changing your brain. One of the most difficult things for the brain to do is to change itself because it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to change itself. Sometimes it has to be shocked into changing. Like letting yourself just get burnt out and sick of it. And then the only way you're going to get back into it is if you do something different. So you're going to have to force yourself to do something different, or you're just going to stay burnt out and not going to want to do it anymore. That's one way that the brain will accept the change. That I just cannot continue this way. If I'm going to do it, I cannot continue in this way. There's got to be something I can do to advance past this point. Yeah. A lot of times it's changing the technique. Some guys just say, heck with this random stuff. I'm going to do flake over grind as an example. Do it. Don't be ashamed. Just change over either two flake over grind or two randomness, because maybe you get tired of the flake over grind stuff as an example. Or you can switch from modern tools to traditional antler tools or vice versa. Just make the change. Yeah. Don't be worried about it. There's going to be a learning curve. Yeah, but it's worth it if you don't want to get burnt out. I know from experience. Yeah. I started with all natural tools. I started getting burnt out on the natural tools. One of the reasons was because of the mentality. There's mentalities in that group, the natural tools group, that says you got to do it a certain way. or you gotta follow the narrative. You're not napping in a way that the narrative is saying that that's not how they used to do it. The narrative says they used to do it blah 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 way, and I guess got burnt out listening to all that crap. I'm just gonna avoid all that and just do use metals. Yeah, I know how to do napping with natural tools. I just stopped because that some people in that community are cult-like. Yep, I said it. Anyways, I will. With that said, I'm still going to try to do some in the future, some videos using natural tools. I've already got all that stuff set up to where I can make a new set of tools. I gave away all my best natural tools to other guys that were experimenting with that. I said, instead of making you a new set, I'll just give you the set that I used to use. And that's much faster and easier for me. And they went, oh, goody. They were happy. I was happy. But now I got to make a whole new set. Except for I got some sweet hammerstones. I got some sweet antler. Ooh, I got some axis deer antler too. I need to make a whole new set of tools using axis deer antler. Yeah. It's already past 4. Okay, so here, this is where I'm stopped at. I'm going to weigh this. Okay, this is thin enough. It's probably about 6-to-1 ratio with the thickness ratio. I do need to thin it a little bit more though. I left it convex on this side that I'm going to be thinning it. So I will off camera, but this side's done. And yeah, it does have a little step right there. I may be able to get that later. As it gets more narrow, when I run flakes on this side to clean that up a little bit more. It doesn't need much. It needs cleaning up right here to get rid of that steppiness. And it needs a little bit more flatness and thinness at the tip. So I'll lose width, and then I can flip it over, and maybe I can figure out a way to attack this steppy looking area there. Or I could just leave it in. If I leave these in, the point sells for less, which makes it accessible to people who don't have all that much money. So I don't care if I sell these for less, if I leave these little defects in there. Yeah. All right, so let's weigh this. .8 ounces. So let's just call it 2 ounces. Where's my... Let's see if I can remember the original amount. Okay. 2 ounces divided by, I think it was 1 pound 8 ounces. No, 1 pound 7 ounces. Was it 23? Let's just say 1.7 ounces. 1 pound 7 ounces. Oh, I wish I could remember. Anyway, I'm going to do 23 ounces. This is 8.6% or 9%. So it's very close. Percentage yield to the one I did yesterday. Okay. This one's like 9% yield, and this was like 10%, 11% yield, 10%. I don't know the exact numbers, but you can get the idea. They're very similar in where I like to stop. Okay. These are what I call preforms because they're already headed in the direction of the final form, both in thinness and in shape. It doesn't take much to notch these or to sharpen them. Okay. And when I start my week of napping, I make a bunch of these usually if I'm in a good mood, basically. I'll make a bunch of these. Why do I have to be in a good mood? Because it is kind of tedious just to make preforms. So I've got to actually be in a good mood. If I'm ticked off before I start, I'm not going to want to make just preforms and be aggravated by the tediousness. I'll just make points from start to finish. I'll just take a flake or nodule and make a point instead of making just the biface and stashing it. Instead of making a bunch of these, if I'm not feeling well, I'll just make a regular point from the nodule, just start to finish, one of those types. And sometimes I film those as rock to point videos. But anyway, you can see the similarity, right? And the yield is between 9 and 11%, which is in line with the experimental archaeology, if they're being honest. Okay. Um, Sometimes you'll see a higher yield than that, and if it's not being honest, usually the yield is pretty low, and many times my yield, especially if I want to get it very, very, very thin, is much less than 9 or 10%. It's like 5, 6, sometimes 3% yield. All right. Where am I in the chat? I did say thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Jim Cooper. Thank you, thank you. So who else gave me a super chat? Super chats, if you don't know, are like tips. Yeah. All right. So Salamander says, solicit what I'm saying, advertise. Do not advertise here in Jack's chat. Salamander says, I've been watching North O2's videos on it. He has got a good little series about the ancient copper up in the north. Yeah, there's a copper culture in the United States. All right, what did I miss? Mike Mason says he's using his angulometer. Salamander says Jack's got that ancient lost knowledge. I wish. Don Reed or Gary says, don't hoard the techniques. I'm going to hoard some of them so I can figure out who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. Prairie Ghost Ken is here. Glad to hear it, bro. Physical therapy, I'm good too. Keeping busy. Okay. That's someone else's conversation. Gary says, hi, I'm from Texas. Is there any napping rocks around? Gary, I know you. He's being funny. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. The Flakes card said the microphone, if I could switch it to the other side, I wouldn't be hitting it with the mallet. Yeah, that's true. If I bend it like this, I'll just barely miss it. Yeah, I just got to keep it in this weird configuration. Let's see. What did I miss? Okay, so a lot of conversation, which is good. It's very good. You guys take advantage of new guys. Take advantage of the chat because there are guys here that have connections to rock suppliers, and some of them are rock suppliers, tool supplies, and stuff like that. Most of the guys here go to Knappings too. I hope. Maybe not most. A lot of the guys in the chat go to Knappings so they can give you information on Knappings. I try to put as many comments in the comment sections that have my nap-in list. I put my nap-in lists into comment form so I can post them in the comment section of my videos. Okay. I can post a lot more in the comment section of a video than I can in the description box. I can literally post thousands and thousands of words into the comment section, but I can't do the same in my description box. So you look in the comment section for my napping lists, and they'll show you the nap-ins by state. I try to keep it updated every 3 months or so. There's probably some nap-ins that have passed that I didn't have on my list, which I apologize for. I'm going to try to keep up with it better. But go to nap-ins if you're new as soon as you can. It'll open up a whole new world of possibilities for you. If you have to drive many hours and you think it's not going to be worth it, it'll be worth it. Yeah, you'll spend, let's say, $200 on gas in some cases if it's a long drive, but just the knowledge that you'll gain and maybe some personal tutoring for free will make up for the money that you spent in gas and food and lodging. Gary says, what was the door prize today? The door prize. Well, I'm giving an exit door prize, which is the prize is you're going to be made fun of, and we're going to laugh. Let's see. So, did someone arrive after the close of the? See, the usual live stream is over. It ends at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's 4:12 right now, and did someone come in at the last minute? Because I give exit door prize. Some people will come in after the live stream is over and say, "Hello, everybody. How's it going, everybody?" You missed it. Nobody missed it. Everyone that is in this live stream made it on time. Very nice. Salamander says, actually, has anyone taught a robot to nap yet? Yes, actually. If you don't know, there's experiments where they used a device to drop, let's say, a marble of a certain substance. I don't know what it is. They've already set up experiments where there's measurements on removing flakes by dropping items onto the edge of I don't know, freeform or something. But I think they've done it with glass mainly. But yeah, that's actually a robot napping where what it does is it drops an item like a marble of steel or copper onto the edge, and it measures the shock, it measures the length of the flakes, it measures the force applied, it measures the distance between to determine the force applied. It's all physics according to the height above the workpiece and the weight of the item that they're dropping. They can determine the force applied, and they can change the angle of the workpiece. And it's repeatable, especially with glass. You just have the same shape of glass every time. And what they're finding out is that the amazing discovery is if you change the angle to cause more inward force, the flakes are longer. Yeah, they set up it's hundreds of dollars to set up these labs and tests. And they found out that if you have inward force, it makes the flakes longer. So yeah, robots will tell you everything you need to know that will not help you with your napping. Yeah, but wait a second. Doesn't the inward force make the flakes longer? Doesn't it? I would say, yeah, but not always. It depends on the material. If you're working with stone, people say, "I don't want to work with glass. I want to work with stone and the original materials. I want to work with original tools. I want to work with original." Without thinking that they're inconsistent. just because the experiment says that if you change the angle and then drive inward more, it produces longer flake, doesn't mean that's what it's going to do with something inconsistent. You have to know from experience that, oh man, this is going to be a trouble spot. Oh man, I need to fix my antler surface or change it out for something heavier like a softer hammerstone or a soft hammerstone or a hard hammerstone to overcome the hard spot or the material itself as far as the overall difficulty in removing flakes. But it goes by feel. Sometimes in some parts of the point it naps really easily. Use a soft hammerstone. Some parts it's not going to nap easily at all. So you've got to use a pressure flaker or something to get the accuracy you need. It's all by feel. Experiments or a robot are not going to tell you this. The robot's going to mess up. When the robot is trying to do it consistently, it's going to mess up the napping on a natural material that's not glass. It's going to mess up. And then they have to recalibrate the robot to overcome what's going on with that particular area. They got to change the angle a little bit. They got to change the tool, maybe the hardness of the tool, maybe the amount of force applied, maybe some other, the abrading of the edge. And then the robot's going to do fine for a little bit and it's going to mess up again because the next part may be inconsistent. The edge is not as dull. The material is not as soft. There might be an inclusion or some incipient cracks or whatever. Sometimes a robot cannot sense the differences in the edge adequately enough to get the precision it wants. So they'll have to recalibrate the robot. And then it'll could do it okay for a little while. And then it's going to change. It's going to change up. If you calibrate the robot to drive big flakes across and it starts getting near the tip, it's going to overshoot and blow off the tip. It has to recalibrate itself as it goes down because these flakes are not the same every time. These flakes, more force, less force, even less, even less, even less. And the angle changes as well. Inward force, inward, but not as inward, not as inward. As you get toward the tip, it's almost vertical downward, not inward. So the robot has a lot of challenges that the human brain has already evolved to take care of. Okay? The human brain's subconscious through feel knows how to do these recalibrations. Okay. The robot will not know how to do Flintknapping very well. No matter, I think, unless it has a human brain-like capacity to recalibrate as fast as our brains can do it, then maybe it can Flintknap. Let's see. Bren says, mine can't even remember its day or night and constantly has to show where to go for the answer. What is that? Mike Mason says, Patrick taught Sev, I think. Yeah, I wish. It's easy. What I can do is I can film someone that I know, teach them how to nap, right? And then I can superimpose an AI image over that person. So I can either have Bigfoot napping or Sev napping by superimposing that AI image over the human. Yeah. I can do that already with AI. What do I want to do that? No, I don't want to show someone else napping. It's not going to be as accurate because there's glitches within AI that, especially with hand motions, that it won't help. It might make it more entertaining. Like I can have a girl in a bikini doing napping. That's AI by superimposing that image over someone else that I'm filming or that I filmed. But That's not what I'm interested in. Okay, I'm gonna call it quits. It's 4:20. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, everyone say goodbye. I'm gonna close out the live stream. Mike says that's why I got on about with glass. The experience and consistency lets me have expectations of fundamentals. Okay. Yeah, bikini girl with Jack's voice napping. Yeah, that'd be weird. I can narrate over the top of it. Yep. All right. I'm going to call it quits. Sal says, nice to see you guys. Have a great day. Thanks, Patrick. You're welcome. See you later, Sal. See you on the next video, next live stream, or the next video. Today's Wednesday. Already Wednesday. Next live stream is Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. And I'll be doing the same thing. It's the same. It'll be the same setup. I'll be doing. I've still got a bunch of rocks. Can you see the bucket? I still got a bucket from the last nap in. So I've got a lot. I've got some tabular stuff. I've got some Georgetown looking stuff. I think this is a piece of Georgetown. I can do all these. I'm saving all these to do it on video. This is some tabular stuff. Kind of sort of tabular. It looks like it's been tumbled a little bit. No? Yeah, it's got some impact fractures. These start out in limestone or chalk, and then with erosion from water, they fall out, and then they get tumbled in the river or the streams. So you can see impact fractures in some of this cortex. And this is just sampling it. It was probably all like this, but then my friend Keith, who I bought this from, will take off flakes to see if it's actually good on the inside and then offer it for sale. So I bought all these. I buy these by the pound, and some of them are good and some are not, but that's just the nature of it. The nature of the natural material. I've got pieces they look sweet. These are all from Central Texas. These are all Central Texas cherts in this bucket. Oh, these buckets used to have soap, right, Sal? We got these at the Knapping. They had soap in them or detergent or whatever, and they gave out these buckets for free. So I bought enough of this stuff to fill the bucket. It's about halfway through. I still got a lot to nap. Some of them are spalls. So this is what I'll be doing mainly on video. And I'll try to improve the lighting a little bit without spending all my Christmas money. Okay, we'll see you next time, guys. Hey, Michael Bonnet. Hey, almost made it. I'm glad that we got to see you anyways. You get the exit door prize. Look, Michael Bonnet has come in, but he missed it. Look at Sal's face, laughing faces. Yeah, soapy buckets. I remember. Oh, Sal remembers. See, you can get free stuff. Not only rocks at the Knapping, but I got the bucket for free, and it's pretty good bucket, man. Sometimes I put rocks in the bucket and try to lift it up, and the bottom cracks. Those cheap Walmart buckets are like that. All righty. I wish we could stay longer, Michael, but I got to go. Well, I don't have to go. Actually, today's an easy day. I've already gone to the post office. Mike Tufts, in case you're watching, I sent you a box of boppers that I was experimenting with, and now you can take a look at see how massively I abused them. Anyway, I've got some more boxes to send out, but probably not until tomorrow and stuff. I was thinking of making some videos tonight, but I got to work on a bow for a friend of mine. I got to work on a bow on top of everything else. I got like 6 bows to do before Christmas, and I don't know. And these are built up from a long time ago. We'll see, but it'll give me some practice, and I'm gonna make a new bow for myself. So I'll have this quiver of otter. This is an otter skin quiver, or otter skin that I'm gonna make into a quiver for my new bow and arrow set that I'm making. It's not going to be Ishii style, although I could. No, it's not going to be Ishii style. All right. We'll see you guys next time. It's good to see everybody. Yep. Good to see everybody. I hope I didn't miss any questions. If I did, just please, after the live stream's over, you can put your question in the comment section if you're so inclined. All right. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Michael Bonnet has put in a crazy funny face. Later, brother, says Damon Crowfeather. Later, brother. Okay, take it easy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.